How's it going, guys? My name is Matthew McEwen, and today I'm going to be talking about the National Airspace System and what all goes into it. So, what is the National Airspace System? The National Airspace System is like part of the sky or atmosphere above us that the United States controls. So, I'm going to be talking about the different categories and types of airspaces and that. So, I have written down here what the categories and types are. So, there's two different types of categories. There's regulatory and non-regulatory. And within those categories are the different types. So here are the types. There's controlled airspace, uncontrolled airspace, special use airspace, and other airspace. So within the types of airspaces, there are different classes. And so in controlled airspace, there's Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class E, as you guys can see. And then within uncontrolled, there's Class G. And then within special use airspace, there's different areas, which I'll touch base on later. But, so, yeah, now I'm going to talk about what exactly the different classes are and, how while flying you can know and, understand, just have a better picture of what those mean. So here I have written down all the different classes, if you can see. So I'll start with Class A. Class A is up here, the top of all the airspaces. It starts at 18,000 feet MSL, and it extends up to 600 flight level. Class A is basically only instrument rated pilots can fly in it, and you have to have instrument equipment, and you have to have ATC clearance to be able to fly within Class A. So unless you're an instrument flyer pilot, you're not going to be flying within Class A airspace. Below Class A airspace, we have Class E and all the other airspaces, but I'm going to talk about Class E airspace above 10,000 and below 18,000 MSL. So Class E airspace above 10,000 has different weather minimums that need to be met. So you need to have at least 5 to fly VFR. You need to have at least 5 statute miles visibility. And you need to be 1,000 feet above the clouds, 1,000 feet below the clouds, and you have to be 1 statute mile horizontal distance away from the clouds. So below 10,000 feet for Class E, it changes. So the visibility needs to be 3 statute miles visibility. You need to have the 152 rule, which means 1,000 above the clouds, 500 below, and 2,000 feet horizontal distance from the cloud. And there's actually a speed limit that you need to follow, so you need to be 250 knots within this area, within Class E. Class E can also extend to the ground in certain areas or to the surface. So Class E is just everywhere that the other classes aren't. And this is all controlled airspace except for Class G. But we're still talking about controlled airspace, so let's talk about Class B. Class Bravo airspace is oftentimes referred to as, it looks like an upside-down wedding cake, which it does. This is airspace that covers the world's, biggest major airports, and it is generally just, it's really hectic to fly into, so you need at least a private rating to be able to fly within a Class B airspace. The radius of the Class B airspace extends 30 nautical miles, and within Class B airspace, you need 3 statute miles visibility, and you just need to stay clear of clouds. Now to Class C airspace, you need 3 statute miles visibility, and it follows the 152 rule over here, so you need 1,000 above the cloud, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontal distance, and that's within Class C airspace. The radius of Class C airspace is 10 statute miles, and it's a lot like Class B. It's just not as hectic. It's a lot more simple, but still, it has some pretty big airports within it. And the speed with Class B airspace and Class C is 200 knots, so you can't go 250 anymore. And that's the same with Class D airspace over here, which we're going to talk about now. You need to go 200 knots within Class D airspace. Its radius is 4 to 5 statute miles, and it is tailored to like the certain airport it's at. So it's not always just this perfect circle. It can be anything that the airport needs. The visibility rules within it, the weather minimums, it's the same as the 152 rule. So you need to be 1,000 feet above the clouds, 500 below, and 2,000 feet horizontal. And you need 3 statute miles visibility to be able to fly within Class D airspace VFR. Now we're going to talk about uncontrolled airspace, so Class G. Class G airspace, it's usually from the surface up to Class Echo, Class E. So it basically just goes from the surface up to Class E. And so it's usually at around like 1,200 feet AGL, and it can sometimes go to 700, or as I said before, Echo can go to the surface, so it won't be at the surface. But yeah, it's uncontrolled, so you don't need to talk to anyone to be able to fly within it. And Class G is just, yeah, it has certain weather minimums within Class G. So yeah, these weather minimums can be a little tricky for pilots to remember because it's just tricky, honestly. But once you know them, it's pretty easy. So if you're 12,000 feet or less above the surface during the daytime, you need 1 statute mile visibility, and you just need to stay clear of clouds. If it's nighttime, though, you need 3 statute miles visibility, and it's the 152 rule. If you're more than 12,000 feet or 1,200 feet above the surface, but less than 10,000 feet, and if it's daytime, you need 1 statute mile visibility, and it's the 152 rule. But if it's nighttime, it's 3 statute miles visibility, and it's also the 152 rule with the clouds. If you're more than 12,000 feet above the surface and at or above 10,000 feet MSL, then you need 5 statute miles visibility, and it's 1,000 feet above clouds, 1,000 feet below, and 1 statute mile horizontal. So that's Class G weather minimums. So now I'm going to talk about the special use airspace. I'll take this back and show you guys to remind you. Special use airspace consists of prohibited area, restricted area, warning area, military operation area, MOAs, alert areas, and controlled firing areas. So let's talk about prohibited areas. Prohibited areas are pretty straightforward. You don't want to fly in a prohibited area because you will never fly again. It's like it covers areas that need security, such as like the White House. So basically, yeah, obviously you're not going to be flying over the White House, so that's prohibited. Restricted areas, they're more for like your safety, but like because of operations within those areas aren't safe for pilots, so it's restricted. And it's kind of the same with warning areas, except the U.S. doesn't always own the airspace within warning areas, so it's usually like over the waters and stuff. Military operation areas, they're there mainly just to separate IFR traffic from military operations so that things don't get hectic. So yeah, that's for IFR traffic really. Alert area, that's an area where there's a high amount of pilots flying in an area, so it's just so you can know to keep an eye out for a lot of activity. Controlled firing area, it's just in case like a pilot is unaware of what's going on, because that activity could be kind of dangerous to him. So that's what a controlled firing area is, because if you're not aware of what's going on in that area, like, yeah, it could be pretty dangerous. So that is our national airspace, and I hope that sums up pretty much everything. Any questions anyone has? So, yeah, that's it.